Hello and welcome. My name is Mark Epner. I'm a Chicago-based pilot with over half of my 2,000 plus hours in a Cirrus SR-22. Currently, I fly this 2011 normally aspirated G3, but also fly other aircraft whenever the opportunity presents itself. I love flying every bit as much as you do and look for ways to share that common bond through multiple paths, including this channel, as well as Simple Flight Aviation Radio, which you can find at simpleflight.net. My goal for the channel is to share my passion for aviation with others that share that same sentiment and do so with an eye towards proficiency, safety, and fun. For this week's flight, we're going to fly to Benton Harbor, Michigan. Why? Because we can, and also because it's a great day to fly. Of course, I say that every day. The route I'm going to take is to fly east to the lakeshore and then follow the lakefront all the way around. I'm allowed to fly directly across the lake, but I just prefer to stay closer to the shore. It's a personal preference. In addition to seeing some beautiful views, I also want to use today's time to educate some of the non-pilots that are starting to watch the channel. Long term, I'm going to use all the normal pilot vernacular, but it can't hurt to form a baseline knowledge across the viewership. And with that as a backdrop, it's time to go flying.
Chicago Executive Airport information, Mike, 1652 Zulu weather observation, wind 350 at 5, visibility 10, sky condition, ceiling 7,000 broken, temperature 27, dew point 12, altimeter 3006, RNAV runway 16 approach in use, landing and departing runway 34 and runway 30. IFR arrivals, unable to cancel IFR to circle, advise Chicago approach, initial contact.
Executive ground, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta. We're hangar 5. We have information, Mike. VFR departure, please, to the east.
Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, executive ground, runway 34 via runway 6 in Lima.
34 via 6 in Lehman. How you doing?
Good, I thought that was you. How you been?
Good, like everybody else. I hope. And Executive Tower, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, holding short of 34 Lima 5, ready to go VFR to the east. Okay, mags on both. Everything on but
Cirrus
landing.
973 Sierra Delta, Executive Tower, caution wake turbulence departed Challenger. Traffic Phenom midfield right downwind. Runway 34 clear for takeoff, eastbound.
Clear for takeoff to the east on runway 34, 3 Sierra Delta. Okay, boom. That's not on, so we're good with the air conditioner. Both, landing light coming on. Left is clear where I took off. Right is clear, and we are clear to take off. Right turn to the east.
760, contact Chicago departure, good flight.
Departure, good day, sir. Exit 760.
Airspeed is alive. Up, get to the center line. Wind is blowing right to left, so I'm going to sidestep to stay out of his thing a little bit. Yaw damper coming on. Caps and flaps.
After takeoff, you always hear me say caps and flaps. And what that means? It means I just reached 600 feet above the ground and that my whole airplane parachute, yes, my airplane does have one of those, is now available should it be a catastrophic engine failure or maybe something happens to the pilot and the passenger wants to be safe, they can activate the parachute. And that starts at 600 feet above the ground. The term flaps is a reminder I should check to ensure my wing flaps are in the up position. Pilots use flaps to change what we call the angle of attack of the wing, which adds lift and drag. And the result is it allows the plane to fly at slower speeds, which is something we all want to do when taking off or landing. Stay tuned for more information on that. While I'm in the teaching mode, let me answer one question that touches on the most fundamental concept of flying, and that is, what makes an airplane fly? The answer is the wing. Without taking the time here to get into the physics of how it works, suffice it to say that the shape of the wing, an airfoil, with a curved, smooth surface on top and a flatter surface underneath, creates a pressure differential as air flows over and around the wing. This results in less pressure on top of the wing, which means that there is more pressure underneath the wing. And the bigger pressure wins, so the wing provides lift. There are other situations where an airfoil does the same thing, and it's not always with airplanes. But also, the propeller is nothing more than a wing shape facing forward, so the higher pressure coming from behind the propeller pushes the plane forward. One of the things I love most about flying in Chicago is flying the lakeshore, and specifically downtown. I can very safely get really close to the skyline, and to me, it's just beautiful. We can also fly on the other side of the big buildings, on the west side of the city, but my preference is out over the water. Plus, it's really fun picking out all the famous landmarks along the lakeshore.
Benton Harbor, Southwest Michigan Regional Airport.
Automated weather observation 1728 Zulu. Wind 320 at 09er. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 24 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 30.
Is that for me? No.
Southwest 17. 5, Frost Daily at 6,000.
Okay.
Contact Chicago approach 128.2.
There's the nuclear power plant right there.
Now, today's flight is being flown VFR. As stated in the last video, VFR stands for Visual Flight Rules, as opposed to IFR, Instrument Flight Rules. And under VFR, we don't have to file a flight plan, and we're not filing one today. And we can basically navigate to our destination in any way that we want without any permission required, and basically with no conversation. The one exception is I am taking off from an airport with a control tower, and when that happens, I do have to ask permission to be in their airspace and also receive permission to take off or land. But the destination airport, Benton Harbor in this case, is like so many other airports, thousands of airports across the U.S., it does not have a control tower. So you're going to hear me announce on a specific frequency, which is used for each different airport. I'll announce where I am and what I'm doing, so any other airplanes in the area on that frequency will hear and know where to look for me. By the way, there is something else that comes into play. I almost hesitate to mention it, but it's called flight following. So even if we're flying VFR, we can still ask air traffic control for help in identifying potential other hazards like other airplanes in the sky. It's provided on a workload permitting basis, but most of the controllers I talk to are always trying to find a way to help.
Benton Harbor traffic, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, 8 miles to the south, planning entering extended left base for runway 32, Benton Harbor.
For those of you that wonder, how does a pilot find the airport or the runway? Well, we know the direction and approximate mileage. The other thing we look for, which you can see here, is a break in the color and landscape. So all of the green trees, we see a gray area that approximates the shape and configuration of the airport and its runways.
3,200 feet, plenty. All right, we are landing light brakes, going to full mixture, autopilot off. I'll leave the yaw damper on until final. Turn right here. What a pretty little town.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I heard they've got, like, it's a cool little, you know.
See the town over there, everybody?
You don't want to say beach town, but I guess that's kind of what it's.
Eastern traffic, be advised, we'll have skydivers over the field in 1 minute, 14.5 up below, East Troy.
Benton Harbor traffic, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, 3 miles to the south on extended left base for runway 32 Benton Harbor. Under 19 knots, first notch. Yeah, it's a little narrow, but that's fine. Under 4 knots, flaps full. Benton Harbor traffic, red Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta turning final, 2-mile final for runway 32 Benton Harbor.
Eastern traffic, be advised, we got skydivers over the field, 14.
East Troy.
Well, there's someone on the field. 5 minutes to the west. See that?
Enter a left downwind for runway 2.
Flight ID. 309 Kilo Bravo.
Traffic, Cessna 5.35 on base 10.
Could be taxiing out somewhere. I don't see him.
He's not on the runway, right?
No. 80090, we're about 8 to the northwest.
123.
Running a left downwind for runway 34, full stop.
This is cool.
Benton Harbor traffic, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, 1 mile final, 32 Benton Harbor. Oh, 90 knots.
It's gonna be.
Yaw damper off.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You've never been here before, have you?
Negative.
Oh, new airport for the logbook.
Benton Harbor traffic, red Cirrus back taxiing on runway 32 and right turn on Delta, Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor traffic, red Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, clear of runway 32 on Delta.
Over the few short weeks since I started this channel, it's taken a bit of a turn. Initially, it was all about speaking to pilots, about our shared passion, and how to make each other better. But as you've seen in the last 2 episodes, I've been working to bring the non-pilot along as well. Because our community is all about people that love aviation regardless if they are a licensed pilot or not. And in this episode, I want it to serve as a reminder to all of us how lucky we are, especially in the U.S., because we have the freedom to get in our little time machine to take us to new places on our schedule and see the world from a very special perspective along the way. Next week, we'll fly the return leg back to Chicago Executive Airport and at the same time cover off some additional fundamental education, including the link between wind, runways, and trips. Until then, blue skies and tailwinds.